David Toulis.
Brought to you by yournews.com. Yournews.com, the editor of Nugonomics, the website for the man who matters, and therefore not very popular, but that's quite all right. I realize that I'm only talking to a very select few of people. You, my listener, are one of them, and that's why I'm so glad that you are my listener here on the David Toulis Show at 92.7 FM and 95.3 FM HD4. That's high definition channel 4. I argue for local economy and the free market, and in Chattanooga and beyond, and suggest that you love your neighbor and buy local. It is a kind of prejudice, of course. It is a kind of provincialism to say that, but I want you to have a sense that your purchases are really transactions of which you are one party, and the counterparty is the person you're supporting, right? When you buy from someone and do business with someone, you are effectively supporting that business and supporting its business model, its ethical standards, its presuppositions about God, its presuppositions about how wealth is created and how you are to be viewed by them. Okay, so all those things are part of that other person's thinking and framework and practice. And when you buy from that person, or if they're buying your money from you with their services or goods, you are involved in a mutual arrangement. That's called capitalism and the free market, and we want that to be local. I think if you're local, you will have a personal satisfaction that you won't have if you simply are dealing with a big corporation's local branch, right? Using some app, getting business to you, or getting your business by an app and skimming off that relationship because you used an app or made a phone call to an 800 number to get a bit of advice on with the party with whom to deal. This is David Toulis. Near is better than far, small than big, and simple than complex. And in the footnotes at 5-point type Helvetica, now Helvetica being the neutral font, right? It's the neutral typeface. And I like neutral typefaces because I don't like compulsion, man-based compulsion. We have this neutral font, and we are arguing for a voluntary society. Voluntary, entirely voluntary. Personal is better than corporate, and physical than abstract. 800-8949, 800-8949. Character is the basis of capital. Capitalism requires character, and it requires Christian virtues. If you don't have these Christian virtues in operation in your life and in your business, you're not going to find people to help with your good or your services. And so character, which starts perhaps we could say with self-denial. Denial of present pleasures for future gain. That's the main framework. If you don't have character, you're not going to have really much of a future, and you don't have the wherewithal to generate the future services that capitalism brings, right? That big companies come about because they started small and they kept finding new people to serve with great services and great product. And that is based on foundations of moral character, morality, the sense of right and wrong, good and evil, black and white, a sense of where the line is drawn, and that one should not cross over the line. Because if one does, one is either sinning in the Christian analysis, or one is violating some external standard. Bill Goodpaster is a painter, has been in the painting trade for a long time. He's 51 years old. He and his wife Natalie have 7 children, ages 8 to 22, and live in Hickson. And Bill, you're thinking of starting an expansion of your painting business. What is it? On what basis can you expand your business, and what is the big problem, if you will, the big question that you're trying to answer?
Well, we've got a good customer base, so expansion is easy. The big problem we face is that it's difficult to get workers, and in particular for our company, we are looking for high quality individuals. We want to take care of our customers, and there's a real difficulty in finding the right people to come alongside and train and take into people's homes. Our customers expect a certain level of professionalism, and that's our biggest problem we face.
Well, how do you know you have a problem? You're just not meeting people like that. You're doing interviews with young men, maybe some young women who give signs of not being reliable or not being virtuous or strong.
Well, yeah, I've probably interviewed 30 people in the last couple weeks, and I can tell you I've hired 2 guys, and and they're sort of on a probationary period right now. But it's shocking how many people don't want to work. I'll ask them on the phone. I'll say, listen, I'd like you to do a couple things for me. Send me a text message telling me who you are, a little bit about your family life, tell me your work experience, and then tell me what your best boss was like and what your worst boss was like. And of the 30 people that I've interviewed, only one guy has actually responded and answered those questions.
And that's by text message.
That's by text message.
Okay.
Trying to make
is that a lot to stack into a text message?
Well, it is a little bit, but listen, if you're looking for a job, we're offering a job to people that I think, for the Chattanooga area, is that we got a pretty good pay scale. We start guys out at a helper at $12, but we go all the way up to $25 an hour. And the guys at $25 an hour have an opportunity to have commission. And in Chattanooga, for a skilled trade, that's a pretty good pay scale. And so I don't think it's too much for a guy to write a couple sentences about himself, his work experience, and his best boss and his worst boss.
Well, that I think is interesting. Bill Goodpaster of Bill Goodpaster Painting. We have when I have a help wanted ad for, let's say, a salesman or saleswoman, I just put my number down there. I figure, well, if someone's going to call that number and talk to the host here, David Toulis, that person had better have some things lined up. But it's funny, people make that call to me unprepared in every way. They have nothing to say, and in the end, they're not selling themselves. And I judge the quality of that person's sales ability by whether he can sell or she can sell herself in a conversation. And not everybody would be perfect, I know, but I would say certain expectations I would have of that interview would be that the person already has some vague idea of what I do, or what the job is about. They would know who David Toulis is. They would have Googled the name David Toulis, a minor detail, and oh, he's the host, and maybe you heard my show, and they could have won ground immediately by saying, I heard your show this morning about XYZ, and I thought you made a good point. And by the way, I'm wanted to respond to your help wanted ad. But people are, as you say, you're suggesting, not prepared to make a minimal investment in, you're saying, a text message.
Yeah.
So again, what was the text message supposed to have in it, Bill Goodpaster?
Well, I wanted them to tell me a little bit about themselves, and then
like age, marital status.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Are you married?
You're not looking for employees, right? This is because you're looking for contractors, not employees.
Yeah. At this point, we hire guys, and they are basically a subcontractor. But in the future, we will, as we grow, we're going to move into making those guys employees and offering them, 2 weeks paid vacation and hopefully an insurance policy. Okay,
so the inquiry is not for employee; it's for contractor, and therefore these questions are legitimate. I mean, they really can be anything you want. They're not discriminatory. They don't violate any federal law, because you're not offering employment. You're seeking help through contract. Under the 1099 scheme, right? These are 1099 contractors, not employees.
Yeah, they are. That's true. We're just looking for, we're looking for quality guys who have a real desire to advance themselves. We're offering them a good opportunity. We're a growing company, and we're looking for quality individuals that we can invest in.
What do you mean we can invest in? How does that work?
Well, we hire based upon quality and, of character. That's the main thing we're looking for. If a guy has an unbelievable character, he's got that good work ethic, he wants to work, he shows up on time, he's clean cut, he's ready to go, he's on the job site early, and he has a desire to do the job, those are the guys that we're really looking for. Somebody that's a real go-getter. And, those guys are hard to come by today.
You want someone who acts like an owner rather than just an employee.
Yeah, exactly.
And so how does an owner act in, say, a job site with a big painting assignment?
Well, we're looking for somebody who has a real passion for what we're doing. We want someone who's going to, get to the job site. They want to take care of the customer, and so they're there. They're presentable. We have a rule. When we're looking for guys, if somebody looks like someone that my wife would not let in the house, that's a problem. And we have to. Sometimes we have to coach the guys and say, look, you have to dress a certain way. You have to groom yourself a certain way, because we're going into homes of people, and we want them to feel safe. We want them to feel comfortable with what we're doing, because we're trying to offer them the highest quality paint job that they can get. And part of that is, you hate to say image is everything, but image matters. So those are the things that we look for. We want skill, that's a plus, but we're willing to train people. We're willing to I'm willing to lose money on a guy for 6 months if I know that in the end I'm going to get a quality guy.
And what do you offer in the way of assurances or inducements to keep him on the job or keep him with you as you invest in him, Bill Goodpaster?
Well, as guys improve in their skill level, we offer them more opportunities. We offer them more hours. We offer them, the ability to make greater amounts of money. That's the hard part in a small business is, we're going from being a small business to getting to be where maybe we're a medium-sized business. And there's a few little growing pains, but, for the most part, we offer a really good pay scale. My guys are doing pretty well. And, I think we have a lot to offer to anybody that is looking for a good, solid job.
This is David Toulis, and we're talking with Bill Goodpaster, who runs Bill Goodpaster Painting. You do painting, Bill. You also do repairs, maybe some light construction. Like if there's a bathroom with a sunken floor in my listener's house that's creaking and pipes are getting squeezed by declining wood blocks, you would repair that floor, for example, right? That's the kind of job you could do.
Yeah, we do. We have some guys that are carpenters that we hire that will, they can help out with some very minor things. We don't do anything that's it goes beyond the pale of just an average paint contractor, but we do a few things like that. Minimal repairs. Siding, soffit, fascia, sheetrock, crown molding, that kind of stuff.
Caller, this is David Toulis. You're live on the air. What's on your mind? Well, what about Hispanics versus not Anglican, but Caucasians and African Americans? Bill Goodpaster, weigh the workforce across that line. You got your traditional Americans, white and black, and then you have the immigrant.
Yeah. Well, we have had, we've had a lot of Hispanic guys that have worked for us, and we've had a lot of, Americans that work for us. And, right now, the real difficulty is not getting Hispanic guys. You can get Hispanic guys, just about any place you turn. The problem with those guys is that oftentimes they don't have the proper paperwork that they need so that they can work, legally here in the United States. And so that becomes a problem. And it's a problem for me as a businessman, because we're competing against guys who are hiring guys that are illegal. And then there's on the American side, the problem is that it's so difficult to get American guys that actually want to work. And there's something has happened in America where young men just don't have that sort of, what we would call the Protestant work ethic that we once had. People don't approach their work, we used to think, from a Christian perspective, we used to think, well, God doesn't just call people to be ministers. God calls men to be house painters and carpenters and brick masons. And, people would put their whole heart into doing those things. In fact, one of the things that I taught my kids is the Westminster Shorter Catechism, which says, man's chief end is to glorify God and to enjoy him forever. And part of that enjoying God is enjoying the things you do. You glorify God by finding great joy in working.
Caller, live on the air. What's on your mind?
Well, once again, we need to blame mom, dad, and the government schools for that, because they try to teach all these kids they need to go to college and don't talk to them about a trade. And what's interesting is the failed school system doesn't pump out millionaires. The failed school system pumps out employees to grind away till they're 65 and then die. Most self-made millionaires do not have a high school diploma. That tells me the government institutions of lower learning, including the religious schools, are there in order to pump out a bunch of sheep. So we have to blame the parents who allow their kids to not move around, to play on their video games, to not engage, to not be involved in the world, to not intern. You know, in my 45 years of business, I can count on one hand how many kids actually walked through the door and said, let me learn about your business.
Ours.
I'm interested.
A republic
What do you
of
do
the
and how you
people,
do it?
by the people, and for the people.
It's amazing. I don't know how this republic can survive under those conditions.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Go ahead, Bill.
Well, yeah, that's a great point. I can tell you that regularly I run into guys who they want a job. They want a job that pays well, and yet, you know, they don't really have any experience. They've worked, 12, 18 hours a week at Lowe's or Walmart, and they're 30 years old and they still live in mom and dad's basement and they're playing video games all day. And it's a real problem. It's hard.
There are people like that.
Yeah, it's not that there are. They're everywhere. They are everywhere. And that's the struggle that I face as a small businessman. It is so hard to get guys that come and are passionate about working because, you know, the caller's right. We teach people that work is a bad thing, and it's not.
You mean the system and society teaches that you Bill Goodpaster don't?
No.
Okay.
We when we go on a job site, we're passionate about what we're doing. We want the customer to come away saying, "Man, I never met anybody that loved painting so much." You know, that's that's what we're looking for. We're looking for guys that do that.
If you work for Bill Goodpaster, you're suggesting, Bill, the man who is listening to our program who's looking for work, it will be trained to become an owner, because the things about which you are concerned are the concerns of the owner, to have a good relationship with that customer, to have that customer call him back later for some other job or make a referral.
Yeah, that's it. It's a business. On the one hand, we want to be passionate about working. We want to be passionate about the painting business. We want to be, we want to do a really good job, not just a good job. We want to do the best job. But we need to have people that have a desire to grow, who want to not simply come in on sort of an entry level, but we want to hire guys that I want guys that want to make a lot more money.
And since they're contractors, they'll learn the trade and develop the trade in your service, Bill Goodpaster, under contract. And they have the liberty as equals in that business relationship. They're not subordinates, but they're equals, to say, okay, well, this in 2 weeks, I just want you to know I've got a big job. I'm doing a barn in Ottawa, right? And so I'm not going to be available, Bill Goodpaster, to help you. But and you understand that they're not subordinates. They are their own entrepreneurs, and here they've learned from you, and now they're going to apply that on their own elsewhere.
Yeah, that's true. They get an opportunity with us to come in and learn a set of skills that they can take with them anywhere. The great thing about doing, learning to paint or learning to do a little carpentry or a little sheetrock is that it's a skill that you can take with you anywhere. It's something that you can use for the rest of your life, whether you remain a painter or you become a carpenter or you end up becoming, a sheetrock, guy that owns a sheetrock company. Or if you just, maybe at some point you'll become a property owner, you can maintain your own home, or, perhaps you'll go into the rental property business, and you can, you won't have to hire some company to come and repair sheetrock and paint every time a renter moves out. We're offering them something that is going to be of value to them in the future.
We're brought to you by yournews.com. That's yournews.com. And the number is 800-8949. That's 800-8949. Bill Goodpaster, give my listener your phone number. 423-802-3378. 423-802-3378. And what do you make of that comment that capital is based on character? Is that really true, that capital, in a nutshell, what is capital and how is character the foundation of it, Bill, would you say? Well,
for me as a businessman, the character is the thing that really matters. We're looking to retain all of our customers. One of the things that we do is when we paint a house for someone, we come back a year later and we're going to reevaluate that house. We're going to make sure that we did a good job. We're going to make sure that that customer is still happy. And we want them to evaluate us. And if they say, look, a couple of your guys were kind of slacking off, they were on Facebook, they were doing this, that, or the other thing, they left their soda cans at lunch on the front porch, those things matter. So for us, character is everything, because we're looking to retain every customer. We don't just want to retain them. We want them to refer us to everybody they know.
This is David Toulis, and we do thank you for giving us just a minute of your time here on the David Toulis program, 92.7 FM. And you report, and the world decides that is something we believe in, where every listener is effectively our reporter, our recorder. And with that phone, you can record all kinds of amazing and true things. Do keep us in mind as you are about with your important record making and record keeping device. If you see anything amiss, or if you see some great virtuous act in progress, do contact me, David Toulis. You can do that through Nuganomics. That's Nuganomics.com. Bill Goodpaster, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Bill Goodpaster of Bill Goodpaster Painting. The great problem we're exploring is how to find people of virtue and character who can work in your business and prosper. You've got the same problem that he does, that we do too. We're looking for salespeople to serve Nuga Radio. Again, the name is David Toulis, and the number is 800-8949. That's 800-8949. Brought to you by yournews.com. That's yournews.com. 3, 2